Welcome, 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 and thank you for spending some of your time with us. My name is Tina Rosenquist, and this is Knowledge for Wellness. And this show is to better inform you, because the more information you have, the better decisions you can make. And today's topic is on home health care. And bringing us this great information is Carol Thompson. She is the owner of Visiting Angels. Welcome, Carol.
Thank you, Tina.
I'm so delighted that you could join us on Knowledge for Wellness.
Thank you.
And this is your first time on, but I'm not sure this is going to be such great information, but I'm not sure my viewers have ever been introduced to you as yet. So I'd really love for you to take a few minutes and talk about your love, your passion, and why you went into owning Visiting Angels.
Okay. My mother-in-law has Alzheimer's, and I had a father-in-law that had cancer at the same time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so we were trying to take care of both family members, and it got too much, and so my mother-in-law had to end up going into a nursing home for memory care. Mm-hmm. And at that time, I just didn't know a lot about home health care and,
Sure.
and the services that could be provided. So I started looking into what I could do to help seniors. I have a passion for seniors. I'm 60 years old myself, and so and I have a father that's 85 that has home health care. So I wanted to give back to the people that were there for us, and so that's one of the reasons that I chose to go into home health care.
Wow, that's great. So Visiting Angels is pretty much about home health care, but what kind of services does Visiting Angels provide?
Visiting Angels provides anywhere from companion care to personal care to range of motion exercises, taking people for walks, running errands, taking them to the doctor, picking up prescriptions. So we provide any kind of a service that is needed for the senior to stay in the home.
Oh, okay. So that actually helps them to be able to keep at home with all their memories of raising their children and a good quality of life on that end.
Absolutely.
Yes. Now, are you just located right in the metropolitan area?
Well, I have an office that's in New Brighton, but we have over 400 offices nationwide, and we just expanded into the UK.
Okay.
There's 8 Visiting Angels offices in Minnesota, so we cover most of Minnesota, anywhere from the metropolitan area all the way to Rochester and Cambridge and out.
Okay. And so Visiting Angels, I know there's other home health care providers, but what is it that makes Visiting Angels so unique?
Well, we feel like that we're unique because one of the things that we do is match our caregivers to our clients.
Oh, okay.
And the way we do that is we, once we get a call and get some information, we set up a free in-home assessment and go out and talk to the potential client and the family, find out what their needs are, find out, some types of preferences and stuff, because if you're going to have someone in your home, you want to feel comfortable with that person coming on a daily basis. And from there, then I go back and we go through the caregivers, and when the client decides that they would like to become a client of ours, then I bring out the caregiver, introduce the caregiver to the client and the family, and from there they make the decision. If the first caregiver is not what they seem to need, then I will bring out a second caregiver.
Oh.
But most of the time we can usually match the first caregiver.
Okay, great. And I know with my mother, she had this great gal that came in after she was sent home after her hip surgery.
Okay.
And so because of that, they just meshed and blended and actually became really good friends on that level. And that gal actually got a promotion, and then they brought in another person, and it wasn't quite the right fit.
Yeah, we really work hard to build relationships, and that's why we want to provide the client, depending on the number of hours and days, but usually with one caregiver and maybe 2 if it's a 7-day client, so that they know the caregiver that's coming in. The caregiver is very aware of what the client's routine is, and so it makes that transition a lot easier by sending the same caregiver each time.
Okay. So when you have a caregiver that's going to come in, what is the actual way that you would hire a caregiver, or the qualifications of a caregiver?
Okay. We require our caregivers to have at least 2 years of home experience in taking care of seniors, or they can have a certificate in CNA, which is a Certified Nurse's Assistant.
Okay.
One of the big things is that they have compassion for people. You can have a CNA or you can have experience, but if you don't have the compassion that goes along with it, we don't want you at Visiting Angels.
Right.
We want people that have compassion and really care about people.
So how is it that you would recruit someone to come to Visiting Angels and actually work for you as a caregiver?
We do local advertising, and they can come through our website, visitingangels.com, and fill out an application. And then what we do is do a first screen interview over the phone, make sure that they meet the criteria that we have, and from there they come in, fill out an application. We also do a competency test, even though that they may be a CNA or have the 2 years experience. We want to make sure that they meet our criteria.
Sure.
And then we run a background check. We do thorough reference checks, and our background checks includes the local for the state of Minnesota, but we also do nationwide background checks to make sure that we are hiring the right people.
Right. And that's so important to get the right personalities to blend together.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's very important. And because as a daughter and watching my mother, you know that you love her so much, and yet you want someone else to be able to provide for her even though I'm out of state. But it just makes me know that she's very well taken care of.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the caregiver usually builds that same relationship with family members. And so family members feel very comfortable in calling the office or the caregiver and asking a question. We have, our relationships are so strong with some of our clients that if the caregiver can't be there for that day, they don't want another caregiver because they have become almost like a friendship, and so they feel that only Sarah or whoever knows, what they need for that day.
Right. And when you actually hire someone to come in, like my mother needed a lot of attention right away because she was just released from the hospital.
Sure.
And I flew out there and tried to attend to, all of her needs. And so if we start with you, we start with a high need, and then hopefully as she progresses, then we wouldn't need you as much. Is that something that Visiting Angels does?
Oh, absolutely. We can do anywhere from an hour a day to 24 hours. And when we go out and do the assessment, we kind of have an understanding of what the doctor's requests are and what the family's requests are. So we will staff according to what the expectations are. We keep in close contact with the family and with the client to make sure that we're meeting their needs, and if there's range of motion exercises or things that the patient's supposed to be doing, we want to make sure that we keep them on track. And we basically form a team and work with the doctor, the hospital, hospice, whoever's involved to make sure that the client gets the best care possible.
Oh, okay, so you have quite a team working together.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. And of course the patient, the client will benefit from all of this.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so that brings me to another situation. Thinking of their living quarters, of course you want to keep your loved one in the home as much as, because that's their wish, because they have a lot of the memories and watching their children grow up there. So what type of living situations are they living in now?
Most of our clients are in their homes, or they've been in a hospital and have moved to transitional care, but are ready to come home, but with some assistance. And so we come, obviously, and give the assistance at home. We also go into assisted living and help, with either companion care or additional needs that maybe the assisted living doesn't provide. We go to the hospital. We will meet with the client in the hospital as well as the family, plus the social worker and the doctor, whoever we need to meet with to find out exactly what type of care that the client's going to need when they get home. Okay.
And so let's say you went ahead and they've hired one of your caregivers and they became one of your clients. So could you run us through maybe a follow-up service?
Sure. Once they become a client and we've matched the caregiver and we've done the introduction and then the schedule set up, then the caregiver starts going. Usually within the first couple of days, a phone call is made to the client and to the family and ask how things are going. You know, was this the right caregiver? Because sometimes it happens that the first caregiver that they think meets the needs really doesn't. And we follow up in that way. And then we will make a periodic visit to the client's home, announced to the client, but not necessarily to the caregiver, kind of stop and talk. And a lot of times with seniors, they don't want to cause any problems, so they don't always tell you things unless you can sit down and you know, and say, well, how's Sarah doing, and is she cleaning the way you would like? And oh yeah, she's doing great, but she doesn't like animals, and I'm worried about, you know, Fluffy or whatever. And so then we find out that, you know, maybe that wasn't the right caregiver, and we put a different caregiver in. But we do, we really feel that we're unique in that way, that we do the follow-up with our clients.
Okay. Now I'm thinking it's so great to have them in their home, but there's not always the case that you can do that. But I wanted to follow up and ask you what the difference is in what Visiting Angels is comparative to, let's say, assisted living and or a nursing home.
Okay. Of course, we provide one-on-one care in the home.
Oh, okay.
And nursing homes, as good as they are, obviously can't provide that one-on-one care, and we build that relationship with the client. And so they're not seeing a new face every day and maybe a new routine every day. So that's one of the things that we really pride ourselves on, in being able to do that, so that the client, the caregiver and the client almost to some degree become friends.
Yes.
And they kind of know each other's habits, and they know what day they want ice cream and those type of things. So.
Yeah, very personal little intricacies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And so you were mentioning, is there a particular age group that you're looking at that you provide services to as well?
It's mainly seniors, but we do we have veterans, Gulf War veterans, World War II veterans, that we also provide services for. It's usually 18 and older.
Okay.
And we take care of Parkinson's patients, Alzheimer's, just different types depending on what the need is.
Okay. And so this sounds as if you work well with the family, and let's say someone comes in and, oh, the brother isn't happy with something, and the sister is, but then they think mom or dad needs something else. How would you address that?
We get the family together and kind of sit down and do some problem solving and find out, you know, what the issue is, and work with the family to be able to resolve that as we move forward.
Okay. And you were talking about some, if you want to just reiterate with us what type of physical ailments or that you work with. Is there anything specific that you don't work with, or do you just sort of work with all varieties?
We work with all varieties, and in most cases we work hand in hand with you know, the doctor, the physical therapist, so depending on what their needs are. We have a lot of memory care clients right now, because one of the things that I think the baby boomers are trying to do for their parents is keep them at home.
Yes.
And they do see that if they can keep them in the same environment, it really makes a difference. Once they move into a nursing home or assisted living, it takes a toll on them. And so I think children are more cognizant of that now than they ever were.
Right. Because I know if I had my choice, I definitely want to stay at home because of all the memories. And,
absolutely.
You know, just you're so comfortable in your own home.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
There's no, I mean, as Dorothy said, there's no place like home, and that's the truth.
Yes.